Blood Warlock, Succubus Partner in the Apocalypse. Chapter 4, Xuanyuan Sword. The orb was about the size of a baby's fist and orange in color. Just by grasping it, Xietain immediately knew how to use the orb naturally, as if it had been something he had known all his life. Squeezing his palm tightly, the orb flashed slightly, and when the brightness dimmed, a new object appeared in Xietain's hand. Xuanyuan Sword. Its power is enough to pierce through the defenses of almost any creature below level 40, and its edge capable of piercing through the defenses of an armored car. When equipped, strength plus 20. The sword was dark golden in color, with countless engravings along the blade and hilt, giving it a truly mysterious appearance. It measured just over a meter in length, and its width was approximately 4 fingers of an adult's hand. Xietain slashed a couple of times and nodded in satisfaction. Although he was not at all skilled with a sword since he had never wielded one, with this Xuanyuan sword he could finally kill enemies without having to get too close, risking his life in the process. Moreover, just by wielding the sword, his strength had directly increased by 20 points. He could feel terrifying strength circulating in his body and felt that he could crush a stone with a single fist. Curious about his current attributes, he called up his status window, and soon several green letters flashed in his retina. Xietain. Status points, 16. Level, 8. Race, human. Job, none. Title, none. Strength, 20, plus 20, /agility, 13 /health, 15 /stamina, 16 /mana, 109 /magic, 109. With his current 40 strength points, Xietain was basically as strong as 4 people combined before the apocalypse. The feeling of growing step by step and seeing his progress before him was so intoxicating that even in such a setting he couldn't help but smile. Thanks to the fact that there were no more zombies on this floor, Xietain allowed himself to rest for 5 minutes. Although he was not physically exhausted, his mental fatigue was there. 5 minutes might not be much, but it was better than nothing. Because he had used more than half of the blood he had stored against the strength zombie earlier, Xietain refilled the bottle with blood and walked to the exit. At this moment, the campus was as if hell had descended on Earth. Students were rushing about in a disorderly manner while being chased by zombies, oversized insects, and animals of terrifying size. These strange creatures were also killing each other. The defeated were being devoured by the victors, becoming nothing more than sources of power for others to become stronger. Many students were also bleeding while screaming and crying, constantly asking for help. Seeing this, Xietain could not help but tighten his grip on the Xuanyuan sword. Even if he was normally indifferent, even if he wasn't a social person with too many friends, seeing his own kind being devoured wasn't exactly pleasing to the eye. Humans kill pigs, sheep, cows, goats, and many other species to consume them and live. Lilith's voice, who had been silent all this time, echoed next to him. Now that the world has changed, humans are no longer the only ones who will hunt to survive. The sooner you accept this fact, the easier it will be for you. Xietain just continued to be silent. Even if he knew that Lilith's words were the truth, it was not so simple to change his mind in a matter of minutes. However, he also knew that his number one priority was to survive. Even if he had to crawl out of the hell, he would definitely survive and search for his family. A rather pretty girl was running while a brown dog that was almost 5 feet tall was chasing her at an outrageous speed. In a matter of seconds, the giant dog pounced on the girl and threw her to the ground. The girl's eyes flashed with terror as she saw the terrifying monster open its jaws wide. Just when her throat was about to be ripped in half, there was a sharp flash that flickered for a second. The giant dog's movements stopped completely, and a second later its head detached from its body. Warm blood fell on the girl's body, but after living through so many things, she did not scream and looked at the person who had just saved her life. This person was, naturally, Xietain. You have acquired mutated dog level 9 soul power. Agility plus 4, stamina plus 4. Stand up and follow me if you want to live. Quickly, he urged. Without waiting for an answer, he quickly moved towards another student who was being attacked by a big bee and cut it in 2 with his sword. The girl quickly stood up, scared. She didn't dare to linger as she began to follow him, knowing that he was her only hope of living. The other male student also followed in Xietain's footsteps without delay as he thanked him. Xietain moved across the campus in the direction of the gymnasium. That was probably the only place that could currently be safe since there were no glass windows for the mutated monsters to get into. Although he urgently wanted to go find his family, he first needed to understand the situation he was in. Xietain knew perfectly well that rushing things in such a crisis situation would only hasten his steps towards death. Along the way, Xietain helped and saved the lives of more than 15 students. These students were all chased by animals or insects. As for those who were caught by the zombies, there was no hope for them. The zombies were not as fast as the mutated animals, nor did they have unpredictable attacks like the giant insects. On the contrary, they were extremely slow and their movements were clumsy. However, a small scratch meant death. A group of 5 students ran while a group of 10 zombies chased behind. They didn't even dare to look back and just concentrated on running with all their might. Unfortunately for them, just as they turned the corner, another group of 5 zombies suddenly appeared and started staggering towards them. One of the students panicked and his movements froze, being scratched hard by one of the zombies. The pain seemed to wake him up as he quickly turned to flee, as did his companions, only to see that they were surrounded. 5 zombies ahead and 10 blocking the retreat. Just as they were wailing and crying, there were several sword flashes, and in just over 10 seconds all 10 zombies were decapitated. Strong. Zhang Ming, a tall student, couldn't help but exclaim as he saw Xietain charging towards the front 5 zombies and killing them as if he was slaughtering chickens. There was a student this strong in our university? Look at all the people he saved, another student muttered in stupefaction as he watched the 15 people Xietain brought in. Although Xietain knew nothing about the way of the sword and simply cut using pure strength, his current agility was 17 points, almost double that of a normal person before the apocalypse. In addition, his Xuanyuan sword was incredibly sharp, which allowed him to decapitate zombies as if it were nothing. After making quick work of beheading the 15 zombies, Xietain felt a little tired. He had killed about 60 zombies since the moment he left the male dormitory, and added to that he had also killed about 10 giant insects and 3 mutated dogs. All those kills had only allowed him to level up once, currently being level 9. But even if he was much stronger than before, his stamina was slowly depleting, and if he wasn't careful he might die if he was surrounded. Xietain walked towards the group of students, and even before they could say thank you, he pointed at the student who had been scratched earlier and said in a firm voice, "You can't stay. You must leave." Upon hearing his words, the group of 5 friends had a drastic change in their expressions. However, the 15 people who were saved by Xietain said nothing and simply stood behind him, looking at the surroundings in fear. "What? Why do I have to leave?" The pointed student shouted indignantly. "You were scratched by that zombie, I saw it before." Xietain said coldly. "You must know what will happen too, don't you?" The student's face turned pale. However, he was not willing to die, so he denied the reality by saying, "What do you know? What do you know if those damn creatures are zombies or not?" The students looked at him with sympathy. Xietain looked at him coldly and said nothing more, but turned around and started walking towards the gymnasium with firm steps. The students quickly followed him, including the student who had been scratched earlier. Xietain, who had been paying attention, turned around and in a matter of seconds appeared before the student. With a heavy punch in his stomach, the student was forced to kneel on the ground as he struggled to breathe. "I told you that you can't follow me." After saying those words, he turned around and walked away. The students did not dare to say a word, not even that student's 4 classmates. Currently, Xietan's mood was terrible, and after killing over 100 zombies, the smell of blood surrounding him was thick, giving him a savage aura that no one wanted to provoke. "I like this human more and more every minute, hee." Lilith looked at his back with flashing eyes, and her lips curved into a beautiful seductive smile, capable of enchanting any man's heart. However, no one seemed to be paying attention to her. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.